We have some breaking news here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Kansas City has re-signed veteran defensive end Alex Okafor to a one-year deal. Now, as we're filming this, no contract details as of yet. Outside of that one-year deal, I think we can all assume it's going to be a cheap contract, especially since he's been a little bit banged up the past couple of years. Rappaport was the first one on this. Free agent pass rusher Alex Okafor is signing back with the Chiefs. Source said he gets a one-year deal and will return to Kansas City, his home, for the last 2 seasons. So one-year deal for Alex Okafor as he will return for a third season with the Kansas City Chiefs. When he's been healthy, he's actually been pretty darn productive. The problem is he's played, I believe, 10 and 9 games his 2 seasons with the Chiefs. But, hey, this was much needed, right? You needed to get a defensive end on this team, especially with all the stuff going on with Frank Clark, which we will talk about later on in the show. So Okafor's the move for Kansas City. We'll see if they add another player, but for now, I'm feeling a lot better about the defensive end position. What is your one-word reaction to re-signing Alex Okafor in free agency? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's show, so if you want to scroll on down and reply right there, after you get hit with the YouTube ad break, you can scroll on up and the video will be back and playing. My one-word reaction to re-signing Okafor is simply needed. You needed to sign a defensive end. Okafor is obviously a player that Kansas City is very familiar with. He's played in Steve Spagnuolo's system, his defense, the past couple of seasons, and so you bring back a guy that is very familiar with what you're trying to accomplish. He fits the mold as a bigger defensive end that Spags likes as well. So you kind of look at this now, and you feel a lot better. Not that Okafor is a star by any means, but he is clearly a better player than Taco Charlton and Michael Dana, so you get him in there. Frank Clark on the other side, assuming, he gets to play. We'll see what happens there. Chris Jones, he's going to play some defensive end, but now you don't have to force him out there. Okafor helps you out there, so I feel a lot better about this front now that you've added a nice depth player and a player that can start in Alex Okafor, and especially if Frank Clark does get suspended, because I do think there's a pretty decent chance he does. When you have 2 felony gun charges, and you already have a bit of a track record, the chances are you're going to get suspended by the NFL. We'll see. No word as of yet. Training camp's almost here. Then the season's right around the corner. But I'd be surprised if he didn't get hit with at least a 2 or a 4-game suspension. So now that the Chiefs have added Alex Okafor, do you feel good? Do you feel better about the defensive line depth, especially now at defensive end with the addition of Okafor? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know how you guys feel about it now that they've added a player. Remember, they were in the mix for Melvin Ingram, did not get him, but now they re-signed Alex Okafor. Get subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs Report because, hey, we bring you all the breaking news, all the rumors that are out there, weekly mailbags, and we do a whole lot more as well. I'm going to keep bringing the heat, so share that link below with a friend. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV. More Chiefs news and rumors coverage here on the Chiefs Report. So Alex Okafor last year in 11 games, I think I said 10 and 9 games. He played 11 last year. 3 sacks, 4 TFL, 16 tackles, kind of more of a pass rushing specialist, not great against the run. The year before he had 5 sacks in just 10 games, I believe. So again, when he's been out there, he's been fairly healthy. He's a nice number 3 type of pass rusher, right? Which is really all you're asking him to be because you have Chris Jones, Frank Clark, and don't forget about Jaron Reed as well. I think if Okafor could give you 16 or 17 games, now that you have the extra game, he could be a 5 to 7 sack guy. It's just the problem is he hadn't been able to stay healthy for that long, but it's still 30 years old. I think he's got a lot left in the tank. Saw a couple of years ago he was able to give you 5 sacks. I think he could do that once again this year because he's solid. Outside of the injuries, he is a really solid number 2, number 3 type of defensive end. I think that's been proven in this system when he's been out there, and I think bringing him back was pretty much necessary if you weren't going to go sign a Justin Houston or, a Vic Beasley or someone like that. bring back the guy you're familiar with, and that is certainly Alex Okafor. Grade the signing, A, B, C, D, or F, 1-year deal. I would say it's going to be $3 million or less, probably more like $1 or $2 million. A, B, C, D, or F. I'll give it a B+. He's solid. He knows the system. You needed a defensive end, so it pretty much can't be a bad grading because you just needed defensive end help. There is simply no way around it. So get your grades in A, B, C, D, or F. And Okafor helps. There's no doubt about it. I'm excited to see this defensive line come into form. I'm excited to see Chris Jones play on the outside, play on the inside, move around quite a bit. And again, with the uncertainty of Frank Clark, who was, hunting around with Uzis in his backseat in California, that kind of put you in a situation where, hey, we got to go get a defensive end. I thought they already needed one before the Clark's potential suspension. Again, we don't know if it's going to be a suspension or not. I suspect it will. But now you really can't afford to mess around and be like, all right, Michael Dana, Taco Charlton, y'all compete for a starting job. Yeah, I'm good. I'd rather have Alex Okafor back out there, a vet who knows the scheme and has been a consistent player when he's been on the field. So I'm excited that he's back in the fold, especially because we just don't know what's going to happen with Frank Clark. Between these two guys, who's going to have more sacks in 2021? Type AO for Alex Okafor, type FC for Frank Clark. The obvious answer you would think is Frank Clark, but what if he gets hit with the 6-game suspension? Could be Okafor. AO, FC, let us know who will have more sacks for the Chiefs in 2021. So we circle back to the news. Alex Okafor gets a 1-year contract. He is back. This will be his 3rd season with the Kansas City Chiefs after they signed him from New Orleans a couple of off seasons ago. He's been productive. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. If he can, I think he can be a solid number 2 type of defensive end opposite of Clark. I'm excited to see Spags mix and match some of these guys, see how some of these depth pieces can a guy like Joshua Kando, the rookie out of Florida State, work his way into the mix. How often will Chris Jones play defensive end? Will a guy like Michael Dana take another step forward this year? Can Taco Charlton be productive? We saw flashes from him last year before he got hurt for the rest of the season. All of that being said, bringing a guy like Okafor back, I would have liked Justin Houston, but clearly they did not want to go that route, at least at this point in time. You had to get somebody, and why not bring back a guy who knows the system very, very well like Alex Okafor does? So he is back on a 1-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs just in time as training camp is set to get going just next week. All right, before we sign off, you can follow me on Twitter at HGramNFL. I had a tweet out as soon as this news dropped, but I wanted to make a video for you guys. But we can't always make videos when things happen, so follow me on Twitter. More Chiefs news, updates, rumors, and a whole lot more surrounding Chiefs Kingdom at HGramNFL. We're signing off here on the Chiefs Report. We'll see you next time right here.